G'day Mebo 5 here. If you just tuned in, this is part 2. So check out part 1. If you've already seen part 1, I hope you enjoy part 2. So without further ado, let's go to part 2. Roger. Alright, first of my fry pans. This is a Griswold Good Health series. And they were brought out in the 1920s. My next number 3 is a Wagner Ware. Stylised logo at the top with a catalogue number and no heat ring. So this dates this pan between 1935 and 1959. The next pair of 3s I've got are Birmingham Stove and Range, and these were the Century series. Bought out between the 1950s and the 1960s. About 1966, 67-ish, they started adding made in the USA. The next number 3 is, I actually don't know, I can't work out when these were made, but it's a Lodge number 3. It's got SK on it. So SK started to go on there in 1950s, but I think this is a little bit younger than that. Okay, my next number 3. I bought this because I'd never seen it before. It's a Philip Richard. So from what I can gather, they're made in China. But yeah, not a bad little fry pan. I've used it before. Okay, the next number 3 I got is an Australian-made Solid Technics Ozfont cast iron pan. It's the first edition, made in 2015, and unfortunately I got an email from the company just last week that they no longer making cast iron pans. So this is 2 years old and won't be made again. Okay, the last number 3 I got is a wooden handled one. So I've got a few wooden handled fry pans, and this is made in Taiwan. I haven't as yet used this pan. It's still a bit dirty. Okay, I'll go through all the wooden handled ones. So this is my next size up. This is about probably a 7-inch or an 8-inch skillet. The next wooden handle is about the same size. I think it's 1/4 of an inch smaller. It's a wooden handle, but I like the style of it. It's a sort of a roundy dish. Good for scooping with spoons, with sauces. And it's got a nice little pattern on the back. Okay, the next one I got is a KWM, which stands for World Known Manufacturing. It's made out of China, but it's the same design as that little 6-inch skillet. Another wooden handle. And my good old trusty 12-inch KWM, another Chinese product. I don't mind using this. This is one of my most used pans at the moment because I have a cast iron lid which was given to me, which fits on there with basting nipples, which is this one right here. I also have a lid for this one. Fits in the groove beautifully. Alrighty, so that's the 3s, 6-inch, my wooden handles and lids. Now let's move on to the, most of these now you're seeing are American cast, and all part of the joy of collecting cast iron and using cast iron, the history behind it. Alright. My first one is a number 4. It's a 3-notch Lodge. And these were made around the 1930s to the 1950s. In the 1950s, around then, they started adding SK for skillet and all the other abbreviations. Number 4. Okay, now we move on to the number 5s. This, from what I've researched, is a BS&R, Birmingham Stove and Range, and it's a Red Mountain series. Made around the 1930s to the 1940s. My next number 5 is another Wagner Ware, flat bottom, catalogue number, stylised logo at the top. And that dates that between 1935 and 1959. The next number 5 I got is another 3-notch Lodge, But this has got SK written on it. It's also got Made in USA on it. So that dates it past 1967-ish. Okay, the next one is my number 6. It's a small block logo for Griswold, and that size was reduced around 1939. So this dates this pan between the 1940s to the 1950s. Small block Griswold. Okay, the next one in that size range is this Birmingham Stove and Range cornbread skillet. Now, Birmingham Stove and Range had the patent pending for this. It's their own design in 1967. So that dates that at the bottom. And then in the late 1980s, when BS&R closed down, they entered into an agreement with the Lodge Foundation, the Lodge Foundry, and they started making these. But the Lodge ones have a hole in the centre. The Birmingham Stove and Range ones don't. The next one is my number 7. Stylised logo at the top, catalogue number, but this has a heat ring. So this would be my oldest skillet I've got. These were made around 1924 when the catalogue numbers came in, and the heat rings came out in 1935. That's my number 7. The next one is my number 8. This is an unmarked Wagner from all the research I've done. The next one in size number or pan number, this is a number 9, and it's also an unmarked Wagner. This one's not as old as the other one because it's got 10 1/4 inch griddle written on the bottom, and I don't even know what date that was. I can't remember offhand. All right, now these next 3 pans, that's it for the numbers. So number 9, so I'm looking forward to getting a 10, an 11, a 12, a 13. I've got a 14, but it's coming. But anyway, we'll move on to the dessert pans. Now all 3 of these are featured in the Ultimate Pancake video, along with the last viewed item, the griddle, which I used for the pancake video. So that'll be in the link below because it's worth watching. So the first one is my 7-well Pt2 pan, which is the Swedish pan. The next one, of course, is the 7-well Abelskiver pan, Danish. And the last dessert pan I've got is a 14-well Poffertje pan, which is Dutch. The biggest pan I've got is this one here. I cooked breakfast for 5 on this the first time I used it. Check the video out. This is a number 14, and it's a 15 1/4 inch skillet made by Lodge. And last but certainly not least, the smallest skillet I've got. This is 3 1/4 inches, and it's my go-to for spoons, and I've done eggs on them. And that skillet fits in this 6-inch Griswold Good Health. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed my cast iron collection. I've got a few more to collect. The search goes on. So, Roger D, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your mates, eh? Ha ha ha!